I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm Dean. This is my little builder, AJ. We're coming at you with Season 7, Episode 4, Balloonfest Blunder. We're talking about Cleveland and how they managed to fuck every single thing up. So find us on Instagram and Patreon and pointsopressure.com. Let's get to it.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
That did sound a little loud, but that's
okay.
That's on our side.
It'll
that's not on their side.
out.
I really wish every single bit of audio would peak at all moments.
Yeah.
Like in the first season.
True.
Yeah. How you been?
Been all right.
Hey.
How you been since we recorded the exclusive?
Oh, you know.
Good, because we recorded it just shortly. Like what? An hour
I was just
ago.
going to say, if you want to know how our week's been, go listen to the Patreon exclusive.
Listen to the first 15 minutes of it.
Yeah. No, it's been all right. Busy. God,
Yeah.
Every weekend has been busy so far this year.
Dude. It's like as soon as it's like Christmas and everything after is like, oh my fucking God.
It's like, Jesus, let me just get a job, get drug tested so that I can smoke some doobies. Like, come on.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I just found out that Delta 9 is legal in Utah now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, before they had some dumb, like, oh, you have to carry a medical card for Delta 9.
Not
Even
anymore?
though federally in 2018 they passed the hemp farm bill, and because it's hemp-derived instead of marijuana-derived.
Fucking Utah we're talking
Yeah, they got
about.
rid of the card thing because it was really stupid and not really able to be regulated.
Nice,
So
good.
it's hemp-derived Delta 9.
Okay.
Is
duly
legal
noted.
in every state but Idaho, I think.
Figures. Fucking Idaho. I'm so dumb.
So you tell me how, the listener,
Yeah.
tell me if you've ever done Delta 9, not Delta 8.
Delta 9.
Delta 9.
Yeah, but yeah, we got our weekly
wiggles
catch-up
out.
way out of the way, so we're gonna hop right into this one.
Well, not too quick. Come on.
Oh my God, bro.
No, I'm just kidding. You're good to go.
All right.
I ate all my Reese's.
So, United Way Cleveland is
that an airplane
no. I thought so at
company?
first as well.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm going to preface this by it sounds like I'm going to shit all over United Way, and I'm going to make fun of them for this specific event in 1986. However, United Way itself, as far as what I've seen, they do phenomenal things for people who need help. They help people in finding and gaining access to community resources. So if you need to find out, like, oh, do I qualify for like my food pantry, my local food pantry? Do I qualify for like Section 8 housing, Section 9 housing, anything like that? United Way does a lot for people in need. They are a charitable organization, and they do phenomenal things. If you are in Cleveland or you're from Cleveland, or actually not from Cleveland, if you're currently in Cleveland and you need those resources, call 211, not 911, 211 for more information, and they'll help you out. We're not sponsored. I just want to give that preface because I'm going to make fun of what they fucking did. But they're a different company. This is like 40 years later.
Yeah, I was going to say, but in 1989, fuck them. No.
So what we're going to talk about took 6 months of planning, and it began in March 1986. Cleveland itself,
Shithole.
in the 80s.
No, I don't know.
I mean, it's a fucking dump. Probably better now, way better now than it was. But in the 80s, it was kind of like Cleveland as a city was doing its best to get out of that, like, oh, the fucking shithole. And I mean, they were doing their best. It's Ohio. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do to that hellscape.
And it was kind of on like the cusp of up and coming. A lot of people refer to it as a mistake on the lake, which is fair.
That's really great.
I've driven outside of Cleveland, and like I don't know what it is, but it's just shitty. Like, obviously I'm on the outskirts of Cleveland, but when I look in and I see the city, I'm like, something in this place just feels sad and miserable.
My part of my family's from Ohio, and
yeah, and they're probably all fucking
Cincinnati
miserable
and
that
Cleveland
live
and
there.
all that. Oh yeah.
Exactly. You can't
Oh
be
yeah.
happy
Drugs.
in
They did
Cleveland.
drugs in like the 50s and before.
Yeah, everybody did. Fuck it. Why not?
And alcoholics and
So I do
super
drugs and
poor.
it's the 2020s.
Yeah, but it's just different to get on, like benzos in
Oh,
the
yeah.
50s versus now. Like I don't know, it's just
fair.
weird. You never think of, back in the 40s they're addicted to prescription painkillers. I don't know. It's just not something that I really had thought about
fair.
and considered
Yeah.
for a
They
long
were all
time.
on that marijuanas.
No, they were definitely just alcoholics.
They were on the bad stuff. But yeah, Cleveland, kind of a shithole dump ass place. Still kind of is.
Hey, if you're in Cleveland and love Cleveland, leave us a review telling us how wrong we are about Cleveland.
Yeah, say these Cleveland hater fuck faces. Call us that specifically. We
Yeah.
know what you're referencing.
If you say that, I'll
send you a hat.
Yeah. no, he will not.
Says
by
you're
the way.
wrong about Cleveland.
Oh, then maybe.
So, United Way puts together
Okay.
this whole family fun event. They're working alongside a company called Balloon Art by Treb.
Oh my God! Is that the clown's name?
Yeah, right.
Treb?
It sounds like an 1980s disaster company that went under. And Balloon Art by Treb is dedicated. It is a company dedicated, and they're based in LA. They worked, get this, they fucking worked with Disneyland on Disneyland's 30-year anniversary. Okay?
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Balloon
right.
Art by Treb
That's a big deal.
They're killing it in the 80s. After this event, I like to imagine Balloon Art by Treb disappears off the face of the map.
Oh, for sure. Hey, did you say you're wrong about Cleveland or you're wrong about Ohio?
Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that funnier than just Ohio?
Yeah, because everybody makes the Ohio jokes.
You're right. Okay.
And
just
then
writing
it's
that
in
down.
the Drew Carey show. He sings Cleveland Rocks, and he's fucking wrong about Cleveland. So
Who?
the Drew
I'm just
Carey
kidding.
show. Balloon Art by Treb is dedicated to massive balloon releases. And not like, oh, we're putting like a new balloon on the market.
No,
It's not like
the 1980s
we're gonna
balloon.
dump out
Oh, okay.
a massive amount of balloons. So United Way was like, yo, did you see what the fuck they did in Disneyland for their 30th year? We got to one-up them.
And so United Way is putting this event on to help homeless people or something?
As a charitable cause.
Okay.
And I'll get to that.
Yeah, they're doing a charity. Okay, okay. I just wanted to
So
make sure.
With Disney's 30th year anniversary, Disney did, I don't know the numbers of it. I didn't look at it because I don't really care. It's fucking Disney. I don't want to get silenced by Mickey Mouse.
I don't want to get sued, yeah.
Or no, sorry, Mickey Mouse doesn't run the
Yeah,
organization
he's
anymore.
public
free
domain
use.
now.
Goofy, I don't want to get goofy.
Yeah, I don't want to get goofy. Nobody wants to get roofied and goofied.
And they saw what Balloon Art by Treb did for Disney, and they were like, yo, they're going to hook us up. Because Disney had the Guinness Book of World Records for most balloons released at one time.
Dang.
And this
What a
is,
weird thing to keep track of.
mind you, this is back before, like, I know that a lot of people listening might kind of be in like the same age group that I was in, where Guinness Book of World Records, when I was in elementary school, I was like 10. It was the single most important like almanac on the face of the fucking
you
planet.
get it at the Scholastic Book Fair. It also it leads to the strangest masturbation of many young men's lives.
Well, I mean, everybody would go in, and we would always look for the longest fingernails and the longest toenails.
Yep,
because it
always.
was just gross. The fattest person,
Yeah.
the tallest person, like just weird shit.
Most needles in a person or something. Yeah.
like just by far the weirdest shit. They had a TV show that was like crazy as fuck. It was just weird, and people would do like, oh, I'm gonna like lift a car on my head, and
it was
I'm
weird
gonna
stuff.
it's gonna be the most weight that anyone has ever put onto a human head and survived in existence. It was the craziest, most off-the-wall shit. And anytime I hear about Guinness Book of World Records, I'm like, oh my God, nobody that was born after like 2005 will ever fucking get like how monumental Guinness World Records was. This is a big fucking deal. And I mean, obviously, an entire like charitable organization is like, hey, the city of Cleveland, we're going to work alongside you guys to break a Guinness Book of World Records or a Guinness World Record. And the city of Cleveland, which has like millions of people in it, is like, bro, fuck yeah, we're on board.
Hell yeah.
This might end up being a complete environmental disaster.
Well, they don't know about the environment at that time.
This is going to be
my voice cracked. Oh my God. They don't know about the environment in the 80s.
They know about it. They just don't care about it.
How do you spell Cleveland?
Cleveland. Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean
no,
to derail.
No, you're just fine. Now their whole plan is they have to have about 2,500 volunteers.
Woo!
It's a charitable organization. Now, the volunteers will be paid in
balloons,
a free T-shirt, which is traditional for the time. But
I'll still do anything for a free T-shirt.
Fuck yeah,
honestly.
dude! A free T-shirt that says I was a part of an event. Fuck yeah! As long as it doesn't say volunteer across the back.
Stupid.
Like, just give me a T-shirt that looks cool. That fits and covers my belly when I lift my arms up. So they're going to get 2,500 volunteers, and they plan to release... How many balloons do you think is going to break the world record to release them all at once?
99 red balloons.
Yeah?
3,000. I don't know. Like, how many balloons?
What do you think? Like honest,
I have no
honest
idea.
interpretation. You're like, okay.
1980s.
In 1986.
A decade of excess, and cocaine is more available.
September 1986, Cleveland wants to get on the map. How many balloons are they going to release to break Disney's world record?
Damn, that's got to be thousands.
Yeah? How many do you think?
Like 5,000.
5,000 balloons
Let's say
released
5,000
at once?
balloons, yeah.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, you missed it by 1.495 million.
Jesus Christ. That's probably what Garbage Island is made of.
Yeah.
It's just these balloons.
Likely. So yeah, they plan to release 1.5 million balloons.
Jesus.
To break the world record and put Cleveland on the map.
Cleveland's finally going to be on the map, guys.
Yeah. Plan the event as a precursor to their like massive fundraiser, but the event itself is still a fundraiser. So, you know when you went and sold candy bars as a kid for your school, so your school could get fucking box tops. So you could get slightly better Friday school lunches. That's kind of the approach with this. Is the kids would sell sponsorships, and it was $1 to fill and release 2 balloons. So like you, as a little kid, it's 1986, you go knocking on your neighbor's door, you're like, hey, look, Cleveland's trying to break the world record in releasing balloons. The goal is 1.5 million balloons released.
We got this.
You don't really understand the impact that would have on the environment, because we all think that latex is like it can be, you know, reused and recycled, and even if it pops in the atmosphere, it'll just disappear. Who gives a fuck about the atmosphere? But Cleveland wants to release 1.5 million balloons, $1 for 2 balloons. How much are you going to give me, Mr. Jones? And Mr. Jones goes,
I got a $5 in my pocket.
You know what? I got $2. I got one of them crisp $2 bills. Those are funny. Here you go, kid. Kid makes $2, gets to fill 4 balloons, goes to the next house.
Huge mistake.
100,000 people attend.
That's insane.
The numbers average to about 700 balloons per kid.
God damn.
With 1.5 million, which they didn't reach 1.5 mil, but they got within like 100K.
God damn.
Comes out to roughly like $750,000 that they raised. Yeah, it's fucking bonkers.
For the 80s money. That's pretty good.
Now, I could be wrong. I could have totally missed that. Maybe they threw a bunch of extra balloons in there that I didn't know about, but, I mean, I didn't see anything that said they bullshitted their numbers. And plus, this is the 80s, so somebody hears about blowing up a balloon and releasing into the sky and letting a kid let go of it. They're like, oh, fuck yeah. That sounds sick. So I can see raising $750,000 strictly off of that. And Balloon Art by Treb is here to provide the balloons. And it's not like, okay, when you do a balloon release like this, it's not like, oh, we'll fill this balloon and let it go, kid. Oh, we'll fill a balloon. Okay, let it go, kid. What they're doing is
it's all at once.
One release of that many balloons. And Balloon Art by Treb specializes in collecting all these balloons, has access to, you know, the world resource helium that's now slowly
the finite
depleting.
Resource.
And they have nets that are the length of a city block.
Jeez.
They are like 250 feet by 150 feet wide. Like, these are long, fucking huge nets that they're draping on, like, I think it, like, so they drape it on the third story of these buildings in this, like, pavilion. Mm-hmm. But when the balloons fill them, these things lift way, way over the top of these buildings. Like, I'll show you the picture.
Yeah,
of
you
it
gotta.
real quick.
I've been waiting for these pictures.
Yeah, it fills these fucking things to, like, God, what is that? Like 5th, 6th story, I think.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and that's not even all of them.
That is just insane.
Yeah,
that they're like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Yeah, and
how many birds did that kill? Like,
dude,
holy
not
shit.
a clue. So I estimate, based on that picture that I showed you, has 4 of those huge nets, but I don't know if they have these nets and they're, like, cut up into different sections. But yeah, like, I would say about 4 of these nets, 250 feet by 150 feet. And these things are going to stretch too, because you've got to still hold the balloons in on the side.
Yeah.
A bunch of news stations have journalists and anchors on location to capture and document like crazy. I mean, that's how I found it myself.
Yeah.
If you're interested, look up the Balloonfest disaster on YouTube by The Atlantic. And it's like a 6-minute video, and it shows a bunch of footage. I'm going to talk about all of that footage and everything. I'm going to talk about a couple other little things. But it is a trip seeing some of that stuff, especially being like, holy shit, that was like 40 years ago now. It's historical. I can actually do an episode on it, and we have color.
It's well documented.
Good color footage of it. It's fucking crazy. It's exciting. Lost my spot. Oh, God. They plan to release the balloons around 3 or 4 p.m. Mind you, they have September 27th set aside as the date that they're doing this, and they've had that planned for 6 months. Like, it's not like September 27th comes around and they're like, oh, you know what? We got to shift it to the 28th. With how many people are planning on coming,
and
how many balloons
that.
and volunteers you're going to have, you can't just go, oh, we have to do it tomorrow. Weather be damned, this shit is going down. And sure enough, on September 26th, the night before, there is a massive storm with like 40 to 60 mile per hour winds.
Oh, no.
Just going all over Lake Erie, fucking all through Cleveland, all the little suburbs. Everybody's getting hit by this crazy storm the night before. And people are like, oh, yeah, I don't know if they're going to have the Balloonfest today. There's no way. Like, this is going to turn into a fucking travesty. That morning, they wake up and
they commit.
The CEO of United Way opens his blinds. I mean, this is a movie shot. We're behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Throws open the curtains, and it's just sky. The sky is nice and blue.
Oh,
a few little wispy clouds. It feels pretty good outside. The weather and shit from last night, It is what it is, man. Like,
hey,
it ain't nothing but somebody's problem yesterday. And, yeah, they get to it. They get setting up. They have their nets already out. They pull them tight. They get all their balloons out. 2,500 volunteers show up. 100,000 people and their kids show up. Everybody's blowing up balloons. I mean, in the news reports, you've got people with fucking medical tape around their fingers because they were getting blisters. So they were like, we're having a good old time.
Tying all these balloons.
But everyone's so excited. They're like, everybody's happy as shit. This is like the best thing, man.
We got this. Cleveland's finally going to be on the map.
If I were there, I'd be like, this is a fucking sight to behold.
I mean, it really is. Like, that level of community is
Imagine
crazy.
the picture that you saw and standing under that.
Yeah, it would be so huge. You're like, what the fuck?
If you decide to watch any of that footage, they have shots where they're just standing below these big nets filled with balloons, and there are just hundreds of balloons floating up into these nets, catching them.
That is completely
insane.
The
craziest shit. It looks fucking wild. And everyone's just, they're all cheery and shit.
Everybody's into it.
Yeah, it's a grand old time. And I mean, like, the anchors for the news are having a great time. They're like, are you fucking excited? Like,
they couldn't say that Cleveland in 19. Oh, yeah, they could. Yeah.
No, they totally could. It's Cleveland. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit there. Yeah. Reports are, however, that I mean, there's a high pressure system moving in pretty quickly. But luckily, with the timing of everything, they're like, okay, we can finish this 2 hours early, release all of our balloons, break the world record, and it's 2 hours before this high-pressure system moves in.
Yeah, so
it's still, all of these balloons go where we want them to, and we're A-okay, and we want them to go up.
So this works.
Yeah. They have their 10-second countdown. They release all of these balloons. Dude, when I tell you this photo looks like a building is exploding, it looks like a September 11th photo.
I was just going to say, is this the worst thing that ever happened?
It looks like somebody bombed that building, but those are the balloons being released.
That's the worst thing to happen in September.
Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like a fire.
The black and white one looks scary.
That looks like, if I saw that, I'd be like, it's the end of the world.
It's a total trip.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like, the red and yellow really fucking stand out on everything.
That's insane.
But yeah, it and watching it happen, I'll send you the link for the video so you can watch it after this. Yeah, you just have these plumes, and it's just like it's like in a horror movie when there's just like a massive hand that comes up out of the ground. It's that
that's what it feels like.
Something just impossibly massive that's like towering over this building. So they do their 10-second countdown, release it. The world record is fucking broken.
They beat it.
1.5 million balloons released at the base of the terminal tower in Cleveland. Reporters called Cleveland, like in these little things, they're flying helicopters around showing it, and they're like, "Oh, Cleveland is an all-American city. We have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now," which came about close to the 80s.
Okay.
Or in the 80s. Mm. And then now they're like, the world balloon, or like the most balloons released in one event, the world record holder for that. Which I guess puts, like, it's huge.
It's something.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's eyes on the city.
That's crazy.
Wow, a city full of poor people couldn't do that.
That's where I plan to go on my next vacation. Not Cleveland, just wherever the most balloons have ever been released. Not when it happened, but years after. And yeah, I mean, these helicopters are like flying around on the outskirts of the city, and you can watch this from above. Like, it's just the weirdest fucking thing.
It's so weird.
It really is. And it's this colorful explosion coming out of the center of the city.
I don't like the word explosion.
Everybody's cheering. And I mean, before the early evening storm set in, all is well and good. They've raised up like almost $1 million at this point.
Dang.
This is huge for United Way. They all finish their thing. They go home and they're like, damn, what a fucking day. Best day of our lives.
We made it.
However, before the night ends, while they weren't planning for the high pressure system, United Way's plan for the balloons itself. Like now, when like I go outside and I let go of a balloon in a crowded city, people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, why did you do that intentionally, you piece of shit?
That's a pretty shitty thing to do.
Because we understand that when a balloon gets so high, the pressure drops and it either just deflates and drops back down, or it pops and all of those little things drop back down.
Microplastics and animals and they can be harmed and all these issues.
At the time, it was kind of just misunderstood that when you release all these balloons, they're going to go into the atmosphere, like they're going to float all the way up, they'll pop, and then they'll just kind of disintegrate because they didn't understand microplastics and they didn't understand.
Oh yeah, that's true. This was well before microplastics.
They didn't understand gravity, apparently.
Well, microplastics have always been around as long as we've had plastic, but our understanding of them.
So yeah, they just planned on it disappearing and floating into space and becoming, the future's problem when we have to deal with space trash, which is a massive fucking problem currently.
Yeah, that is kind of a huge issue.
Even then, they were like, okay, realistically speaking, let's say not all of them float up and some of them fall back down.
That's just a couple.
They plan on 10% landing in the Erie, which is still 150,000 balloons.
Sucks.
That's still a ton of balloons.
That's so much pollution.
But pollution is somebody else's problem. That's a future generation problem, right? Am I right,
yeah,
boomers?
Am I right? Up top.
But when it's 150,000 balloons, it's a little bit more manageable of a cleanup. It's
compared
still bad.
to a million, yeah.
Manageable cleanup. They kind of plan on a bit of a cleanup anyway, so they're like, all right, whatever. We'll be able to manage this. The impact won't be terrible. We'll be fine. Like anything that is really bad will just sink to the bottom of the lake, which is okay because out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Yeah.
However, with this high pressure system, instead of making these balloons go higher faster, it virtually just makes them sink.
Oh, nice.
So 1.5 million balloons go up, high pressure system sets in, and they all come back down. And by all of them come back down, I mean all of them
Jesus.
Come back down. 1.5 million balloons come back down to the Cleveland area. And it's not like they're coming back down into the place that they were fucking left. They don't really have a home. They just drop straight down. And it ends up with roughly 60%, which comes out to about 900,000 balloons, end up in Lake Erie instead of their 10%.
Damn, those poor fish.
Environmentalists are fucking furious, and the entire lake is covered in these, like, and it's not like they fully deflated.
Oh my
God. It is covered in balloons.
Holy shit.
It is covered.
It looks like an apocalypse.
It's covered in balloons, yeah.
That is so much.
Now, it looks fucking bad. A reporter said that these balloons are like boiling up in the air, and as they all kind of start coming back down, it's not like they drop quickly. They just have spread out and they slowly start to settle down. And he was like, wow, we're going to drown in these balloons. No shit. Now, do you remember that major storm that I talked about that happened the night before?
Yeah.
There were two men that were out fishing and planned to return home at midnight that day. Or they were fishing that day and planned to return home at midnight. The wind in that storm ended up capsizing their boat. They were out in Lake Erie. It throws both of them overboard. And the water in Lake Erie around this time of year is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It is cold.
That's brisk.
Water. Now, I don't want to attribute what happened to these men or the fallout from the Balloonfest not being planned properly. I don't want to say that the Balloonfest causes problem, because realistically, 12 hours in that cold water, I mean, that leaves us at noon. Add 2 more hours when the balloons are released. 14 hours in 65 degrees water.
Yeah,
you're not going to survive anyway.
Yeah.
And when these guys didn't return home at midnight, their wives called the Coast Guard and said, hey, there was a big storm out. We need you guys to go out and search for them. So the Coast Guard has already been looking for like 14 hours, mind you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are balloons everywhere.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
The first like 14 hours that they're searching, it's still open water, but like it's Lake Erie. Like,
yeah, it's pretty big.
It's huge. They found the boat.
Okay, good start.
And yeah, they were just like, I don't know. And then all of these balloons start falling down. You saw the picture of that lake.
Yeah.
Tell me you could look at that photo and pick out what is a head and what's a balloon.
No, not at all. And they're probably...
It'd be impossible.
And if they're floating for that long, they're tired. They're not going to have the energy to call out.
Yeah.
If they're still alive.
So these guys were interviewed and they were like, finding a bobbing head in this mess of fucking balloons is like finding a needle in a haystack. You have 1.5 million balloons, almost 1 million balloons in Lake Erie, and 2 of those are human heads.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Come on. And one guy said it felt like flying through an asteroid belt, which like imagine just in your boat going along the surface of the lake and all of these balloons are just like...
That's like surreal.
Crazy.
That's weird.
Crazy. And it looks like another planet in those photos. It is the weirdest
straight up
shit.
It does.
Farmers start sending out complaints to the city, sending out complaints to United Way about the balloons because they're starting to cover their farms. It's scaring their livestock because their entire farm is in all of these weird fucking colors, these orbs that are landing in these animals' area. They're fucking terrified. Not only that, but if any of these do pop when, they hit trees and shit, they fall into the grass. A cow eats the grass, chokes on fucking latex.
Yeah, huge issues.
It is a major, major, major problem. Because I don't know if you know this, but livestock generally don't know what the fuck a balloon is.
Yeah, no way.
Drivers are driving in what they called a balloon blizzard.
Oh, I didn't even think about driving a car.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, they can't
shit.
even see the road. There are a few accidents that happen. The Cleveland Memorial Shoreway is a road that had to be shut down because people were driving off of the road into fences. And they were like, this is a fucking safety hazard.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, we can't do anything right now.
What can you do?
They had to bring in a bulldozer to clear that off. They had to bring in a bulldozer to the Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. It had to close because there were balloons on the runway.
That's crazy.
So the Burke Lakefront Airport is an executive and business airport, so fuck them.
Oh, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, I'm glad they had to shut down, suck my dick. But, I mean, it's chaos, man. Like,
yeah, it's
it's
the end of the
insanity.
world.
I can't even imagine experiencing that. If anybody that, I guess, likes Cleveland wants to reach out and you have an account of it, like, contact us. Reach out
we'd
to
love
us,
to hear it. Leave us a message.
PressurePoints.com. Send us a voicemail. Send us an email.
Awesome.
It would be really cool to hear from you. Just because, like, that shit has to be just surreal seeing that
like,
shit.
I can't even imagine, like,
God, dude,
just everything that was going on.
Insane. Now, although Balloonfest was kind of like the hype of the century in Cleveland, for a lot of others, it became this major, major pain in the ass. I mean, these balloons are going to pop and they're going to pollute waterways. Like you said, fish are going to get fucked up, probably eating pieces of fucking latex.
Yeah. All the string, if they're tied up, or depending.
No, they were just tied.
Yeah,
they didn't have any
together.
string. Yeah, just tied at the little balloon neck.
Yeah, the little balloon knot,
balloon pussy,
the ballussy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's bad. And imagine a balloon popping, and how much it's not like everything stays intact. the shit explodes everywhere. Imagine that happening. If we were even to say 50% of the time, that's 750,000 balloons that pop. So one of the fishermen is found dead, but he had floated to the shore, so it wasn't even really the Coast Guard that found him. Somebody that was like, yeah, let's go look at Lake Erie.
Let's
and
go
all
look
these
at the balloons.
And there's just a dead body. And they're like,
geez.
oh, great. It took weeks. I think it was October 12th. So over 2 weeks to find the next body.
Damn.
The other body was not found for more than 2 weeks. And the farmer sued for $100,000 in damages because she had this like fancy horse farm.
Oh.
And a bunch of them got injured, terrified, fucked up about it, probably ate pieces of balloon.
Yeah.
And she settled for the $100,000 in damages it was paid to her. The wife of the guy that wasn't found for 2 weeks, she sued United Way and Balloon Art by Treb for $3.2 million in their involvement in complicating the search for her husband's body. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Straight up.
They settled out of court. I don't know what they ended up paying her, but the amount that they ended up paying her made the Balloonfest an overall loss.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's a loss now, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
The real travesty of this entire thing is that Guinness got word.
No.
They ended up not recognizing it as a world record breaker. However,
what's Cleveland going to do?
2 years later, in 1988, they finally recognized it. It took 2 fucking years for them to be like, yeah, okay.
All right, fine.
But initially they were like, yo, people, like, this is bad. I don't know if we should
people
really
do not
recognize
like
this. 2 years later, cited as the largest balloon release with 1,429,643 balloons launched. Guinness Book of World Records, as of 1988, no longer measures balloon releases as a world record metric.
Yeah, it would be like they're recording, most oil dumped in the Gulf or something.
Most murders in a single weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
dude.
That's insane. Those pictures, they're going to be a fantastic week to check out our Instagram, instagram.com/points of pressure. Amazing photos. Yeah. Also, I'd like to run this past you. How do you feel about that?
You're wrong about Cleveland. You should make it a balloon.
I should make it. Oh, my God. I'm deleting that. Okay. There may or may not be anti-Cleveland propaganda on our store, shop.pointsofpressure.com.
We gotta add a bunch of stickers for that.
Oh, that would be fun to
then
do.
I can add that fuck Balto one. And if you don't know fuck Balto, then you better get on our Patreon. Speaking of which, patreon.com/pointsopressure. We do an exclusive episode on the first day of the month.
Except for this month.
Is the last month's episode. Day late, not $1 short though, because of our patrons. We really, really do appreciate everything you guys have done for us. If you would like to subscribe on Patreon, it's like, I think our lowest tier is $4.20 a month.
Oh, they took away change. I think it might just be $4 now.
Oh, okay. No
but
worries.
In spirit, it's $4.20.
If you decide to make a free account on Patreon, we do have a free tier. We will be putting a few things on there so that if you decide to just support us on Patreon as well, that option is there, and we would greatly appreciate it. Even if you're on a free tier, it helps us out massively. But yeah, Sloppy Seconds episodes are on there. We have like 30 plus of those. AJ's working on a series called Voices. We have a video that's an inside look at the studio back when it was clean and we first put it together. By all means, check it out. Even if you're not going to subscribe, click around the website. You got those names pulled up?
I do, maybe. in this tab. All right. So, of course, we've got the board, the chair people, one of which lets me use their HBO Max, so thank you. Minnie D, Thomas, and Toddlewaddle, thank you guys so much. They really, they're behind the scenes making sure that 11% of our downloads so far this month are from Japan.
Yeah. They're also making sure that we don't ever say anything positive about Cleveland. So.
That's true. They are
keep us in check.
The puppet masters behind the Cleveland stuff.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Then we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Kitty Titties, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, G-Dog, Hayden, and Lindo. Thank you all so much. We really do appreciate it. You let us keep doing this. Keep doing this fun hobby that's kind of turned into a little bit more of a hobby.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
And for the rest of you,
for the rest of you, yeah.
Please, 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 please go to our Instagram at points_pressure. She works very, very hard on it. And with this episode, there is a ton of visual learning that takes place while you're listening to it. So go to our Instagram. There will be pictures. All of the pictures that I fucking talked about in this and I showed AJ will be on our Instagram. Go check it out. Go like all of it. It helps us. We really do appreciate you guys. And if you ever have any recommendations for movies, TV shows, music, books, magazines, dirty vintage porn magazines, dirty gay vintage porn magazines, dirty magazines involving S&M from the 70s.
I want to see 1937 Vor, please.
Please, by all means, send it to us on Instagram. Feel free to reach out to us. Why the fuck isn't that playing? It's saying it already played. All right, well, we don't have outro music today. But yeah, if you guys would reach out, it would be great. Instagram at points_pressure. Feel free to email us at ppdnaj, all the letters, at gmail.com, or go to our website, points_pressure.com, and go to the contact us page, and we will catch you guys next Monday.